I just want to just lay out a few, a few thoughts on the subject before we, get into the comment period. Again, the purpose of this is to hear from you. We as elected officials would not be doing our job if we were not ensuring the maximum opportunity for all of you to involve yourself in this. Because after all, this really is your environment, it's your drinking water that we're talking about. And certainly, as I think you'll hear tonight, this is not just about the New York City watershed of drinking water. The hydraulic fracturing raises so many concerns and so many potential threats to our health and safety. We hear more about that every day. There is now, new evidence of concerns about seismic activity and earthquakes that's been in, there's a piece published by the New York Times yesterday. As Councilmember Garodnick mentioned, we need to understand the effect of massive amounts of water that's going to be drawn from natural sources, how that's going to be regulated, what the effect of that's going to be on our natural bodies of water, how that water is going to get transported, what the effect is of all of that movement in trucks across roads that were built basically for rural purposes. We need to understand the effect of all of this industrial activity across rural areas, across, in some cases, forested areas. We need to understand the effect of bringing massive amounts of industrial chemicals into these communities, how they're going to be stored, how that can possibly be done safely, what happens when they're in the environment, when they're injected into the earth, what is the likelihood of them seeping into places where they're not supposed to be. When that water comes up, contaminated, even more contaminated than it is when it went down, often radioactive in some cases. What happens to that? How is it stored until it's properly processed? How is it going to be processed? Can we set up a process in this state to manage that water effectively as the hazardous waste that it is? We need to understand the actual full impact of this environment. We cannot, as the council member said, we cannot simply take assurances that this stuff burns more cleanly. Okay, it does burn more clearly. When you burn natural gas, it produces less of an environmental impact than when you burn oil or coal. But the question is, if we're going in this direction because we believe it to be safer, because we believe it to be cleaner, what is the cumulative effect of that activity? Not only the issues I mentioned, not only the exhaust from all of those trucks. We had a public hearing recently where I asked a direct question of the DEC, and they asserted that there would be no negative effect on air quality across the state at all if we engage this activity. I don't believe that. I said that on site, and we're following up with them. One of the things that's become clearer recently is that as you drill for natural gas in this way, very large amounts of methane are released on the spot. Okay, as the drilling is done, methane, a greenhouse gas, which is being released into the air. What is the effect of that? What is the overall effect of this activity relative to our alternatives? And finally, we need to make sure on all of the issues that we're understanding the cumulative impact. It's fine to say somebody somewhere could drill a well, and maybe if it's done in the right place, in the right way, it will not pose massive danger. But if we do this across the state, if we roll it out in thousands of wells, and we build an entire industrial infrastructure around this activity, what is the effect of that going to be? And is that something we ought to permit at all in our state? Finally, Dan Garodnick, the council member, mentioned the drinking water question. It's not, we have made major progress on this. The previous environmental impact statement basically said you can drill pretty much anywhere in the state. This one is now proposing to restrict drilling such that you cannot actually drill in the areas around the watershed, which is progress. The big question now is, how far out of the watershed areas do you need to be, and more importantly, what is going to be the effect of the infrastructure that delivers the water from those areas to our taps? And that's something that we've had a lot of testimony on already, and we've actually sat down with DEP recently, and we're working on a possible legislative approach to that as well. Again, tonight is really about hearing from all of you, so I will stop there.